welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, and his two sons to spend over 2 months in prison pending bail. Reprieve for former Imo State Governor Ikedio Hakim as court grants him bail in the sum of 270 million naira. Our big story tonight examines the debate over 700 billion naira released by the federal government to states, and race against time as Greece presents new proposals for third bailout from creditors. But just to remind you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on the Android, iOS and Windows platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Well, we do have some of those pictures that you've sent in to us. Now let's begin with this one sent in from Ikorodu here in Lagos State, showing men of the Kick Against Indiscipline destroying what our eyewitness reporter says are illegal market structures along the road. The next photo is from Ikeja, the Lagos State capital, showing commuters in an orderly manner waiting to board tricycles. Our eyewitness reporter says this habit should be encouraged everywhere else in the country. And still from Lagos comes this next picture of the effect of erosion on Oni Street in Ifako-Ijaya area of Lagos. Our eyewitness reporter is appealing to the relevant authorities to work on it. And finally are these pictures from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State, showing a heap of refuse along the street and also the image of a bad road along Okoyaje Market. Our eyewitness reporter is calling on the relevant authorities to clear the refuse and repair the road. Thanks a lot for sending in all those pictures, and we do expect you to send us more. The graduating officers of the 23rd class of the National Defense College have been challenged to contribute to the ongoing effort at keeping the nation secure. Now, this came from the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, and the Commandant of the college, Rear Admiral Ndidi Arohor, who also expressed confidence in the quality of the participants.
To train strategic leaders, and to that effect we are very equipped, because in the Nigerian Armed Forces today, this is the only college unit, college institution where you have more than 50 brigadier generals and above in a small space like this. Even in defense headquarters, I can't get that number. The quality of our directing staff is what we refer to as the cream of the Nigerian Armed Forces. From their output already, from the type of questions they ask in the hall, and from the gradual improvement we see in the quality of their written work. It's awesome.
Internal security management. We've been able to talk about a lot of things. I've been able to tell them, our policy trust in the police, what we are doing in terms of community policing, intelligence-led policing, how we are driving, most of our restorative justice policies in the Nigerian police force. So it's been very, very interactive, and I think my coming there was something that will really spur them to, attain higher standards in whatever they are doing.
Now, securing the release of the Chibok schoolgirls remains a priority for the government of the United States. Now, this is according to the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken, who is in Nigeria ahead of next week's visit to Washington by President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Blinken said his visit to Nigeria is to also seek ways of strengthening security in the country and the fight against corruption.
In our meeting with the President, we focused on his priorities for Nigeria, his plans to address them, and how the United States can help. In particular, we discussed practical ways to strengthen security, which is threatened by Boko Haram's horrific acts of terror and violence, to develop the economy, to combat corruption, and to make government more effective and transparent. Our presence here this week is to help prepare for President Buhari's visit to Washington on July 20. But it also reflects the commitment of President Obama and the United States to strengthening the partnership between the United States and Nigeria and to advance a more secure, prosperous, and peaceful future for all of Nigeria's citizens. Defeating Boko Haram requires a comprehensive approach that involves the region and includes not only a strong military response, but also sustainable security for liberated areas, good governance, development, and opportunity for the civilian population. The Chibok girls remain a priority for us, I know for Nigeria, of course, and indeed for the international community. And of course, there are many more young girls, boys, young women who are missing. And our focus is on them as well. We continue to provide assistance to the government in the attempt to locate them, find them, and bring them home. And all I can say is this remains a matter of real focus, I know, for the government and certainly for us. But beyond that, for reasons of their own safety and security, it wouldn't be appropriate to go into any details.
Now, Kaduna State's residents have been reacting to Tuesday's bomb explosion that killed about 25 people in Sabongeri local government secretariat. Some residents allege that the attack was aimed at scuttling the ongoing civil servants audit by the state government. Others called on security agencies to boost their operations across the state.
It's almost a year now since Kaduna residents last experienced any bomb blast across the state.
I just had the bomb on my way to enter my line to collect my check. That is what I just know.
But last Tuesday, disaster struck at the venue of the ongoing civil servants audit exercise in Sabongeri local government secretariat. A young woman sneaked into the screening center and detonated an explosive strapped under a hijab, leaving about 25 people dead and several others wounded.
One of the major things is poverty. You know, somebody can just come and deceive you, collect this amount, go and do this. And since poverty is there, somebody can just collect. The government should take an action about this thing by giving our youth work to do.
You are not safe in the market, you are not safe in the church, you are not safe in the mosque, you are not safe in the motor park, you are not safe in your home, and you are not safe outside your home. For how long can this continue? It is high time that the new government review the security policies of this country. Security personnel that are unable to address these problems need to be shown the way out.
However, the blast did not stop the state audit screening. The police say there is now heavy security presence at the center, with periodic raids on streets and hideouts.
Well, all you need from the public is information. And this time people should be security conscious, especially these young girls wearing hijabs. They should not, people to always check them and they report to the security agents immediately they see them around. Mostly, people are compliant, people are deserted the street, the beggars are no more there, and it is a continuous exercise until we'll see no street begging and hawkings within the street in Kaduna.
As normalcy gradually returns to Kaduna, residents hope that security operatives will plug all loopholes that could create security breaches and risk in public places.
Now, to discuss the security challenge, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a security consultant, Captain Umar Aliyu. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Good evening.
Okay, let's start from what's being put in place in Kaduna. We understand that, body detectors, metal detectors are to be used at that particular verification exercise. Women in veils are also to be screened. Is that enough?
That's after the blast. We should be looking at before the blast. The blast has occurred And if you look at it, we are acculturated to this after the smoking gun, trend of doing things. That's reacting. It's not responding. Responding means an ongoing, day by day, minute by minute appreciation of what is on ground and what to do about it. So you need a lot of strategic intelligence to do that. Now, if you look at the issue of bombings, as we have experienced these few days past.
One a day.
About an average of one a day, excuse me, it's nothing new. We've had our baptism through the last 2 years. Nyanya, the Kano Motor Park, the Jos Central Market, those were opportunities from which we could have learned.
But some will argue that what is new right now is this whole Lone Ranger effect. You have a Lone Range suicide bomber on his own, not in a particular area like in Sambisa or where you can drive everybody out. So, and nobody has yet answered that particular question of what the strategy will be to handle that particular
It's not about issue. Whether it's a Lone Ranger or a Rogue Ranger. A suicide bomber could be a goat. Anything could be a suicide bomber. It's suicide because there's life attached to the courier. Now, what I'm simply trying to tell you is, at this point, after the backlog of bombings we had through 2012, 13, and 14, we should be able to see a thread of similarity running through this issue of suicide bombs, regardless whether they used women, babies, or men. One, they prefer to bomb densely populated areas, schools, churches, mosques, marketplaces, parks.
But in the last couple of days, it hasn't quite been the same.
Densely populated. You see, a bomb is an expensive item to make, and those who are involved won't charge you pittance. So having invested that much, let's assume it was a business, will you take it to where you kill only 2 people? No. You will want to maximize gains, if I can call it that. So, given the trend in the last 2-3 years, by now, post Abuja, Yanya, post Kano Motor Park, post Central Market Terminus, Jos, the law enforcement agencies, particularly the police, the civil defense, the SSS, should be giving us a blueprint.
But we keep hearing what they should be doing. What is missing? Looking at the Borno attack, you found the local vigilante was saying they actually saw them and they engaged them, they were overrun. They're still moving around.
Those are stories.
Are there not people who
What is missing is simple. What is missing is those who cannot take us where we want to go should be let go. They should, we have to let them go. We have people who keep giving us one excuse, one story after the other. But people are dying.
Exactly?
The civil defense is there. The police is there. The SSS is there. By now, some people should have gone to Nyanya or the Kano Park and taken time to look in there and say, okay, this is what we think happened, putting the pieces back together. And you get a blueprint going forward. Any public place, any market square, any motor park that has to run will meet these pre-requirements security-wise. If you don't, we simply slam a security alert level on you. If we tell the public you are on security alert level orange, you go there at your own risk. When the business environment there dries up, the stakeholders will come together and what? Raise the bar on their security levels. And these security levels can only be spelled out by these 3 agencies working together. Okay? The army can engage them in the northeast combat, in combat. But when it comes to what you call policing within the townships where you have civilians, then these 3 agencies, as I've told you, have work to do.
Thank you very much.
It's long overdue. We need a blueprint.
Thank you, Security Consultant Captain Umar Aliyu, for sharing your thoughts with us tonight on the News at 10. Still ahead on the news at 10, we revisit the over 700 billion naira to be released to the states by the federal government. Do join us again.